My name is Ramon Pichs Madruga. I'm researcher and Deputy Director of the Center for International Economy Studies in Havana, Cuba. I have been directly involved with the work of the IPCC since 1997, and since the year 2008, I have been acting as one of the three co-chairs of Working Group 3 of the IPCC. Working Group 3 of the IPCC is dealing with mitigation of climate change as complementing the role of the other two working groups of the IPCC, Working Group 1 dealing with the science of climate change, and Working Group 2 dealing with impacts, vulnerability, and adaptation of climate change. One of the greatest achievement of the IPCC in this in its process of functioning has been the way in which the articulation of the different disciplines and also the way in which the different working groups has been functioning in this process. I would say that the presence of the IPCC nowadays in dealing with climate change assessment, in assessing the specialized literature with the different dimensions of climate change, has been one of the main aspect, one of the main positive results of this institution. So the way also in which climate change has been analyzed, not only with regard to climate change as an environmental challenge, but also the relation of climate change with other economic and social dimensions is one of the most important aspects of the work of this intergovernmental scientific institution. With regard to the future of the IPCC, I could see the IPCC as an organization that is reinforcing its role in assessing all the different dimensions of climate change according to the dynamic of the new time. And this is also one of the main challenges of this institution, how to provide this kind of results, solid results in the sense of the science, in terms of science, but also relevant for the policy making process. As part of this challenge for the IPCC in the future, I would say that this institution as an academic scientific institution, and taking into account the complexity of the problem of climate change, should continue improving the integration of knowledge, taking into account the need, for instance, to improve the integration among the different working groups of the IPCC, but also the integration of different disciplines, not only, for instance, science of the atmosphere, but also economics, social sciences, and other. And finally, the need to improve the representativity of this institution, taking into account the need to improve participation from the different regions, input from the different regions, in different languages, not only English, but also non-English languages, and the need to improve the participation in quantity and quality of experts from the developing countries in the process of assessment corresponding to the mandate of the IPCC. Well, with regard to the fifth assessment report of the IPCC, we have to take into account that this is the fifth occasion in which the IPCC is dealing with integrative assessment with regard to climate change. In this case, as has been the case also for the other previous assessment, this would be very important as an input, as a reference for the multilateral negotiation process. Particularly if we take into account that the results of this fifth assessment report would be finished by the year 2014. By the year 2015, an agreement is supposed to be reached as part of this multilateral negotiation, a global agreement in dealing with climate change, and this agreement is supposed to be in practice by the year 2020. So if we take into account the roadmap of the multilateral negotiation, the IPCC inputs, the IPCC results has been and would be as part of this process very relevant in that context, but also taking into account the nature of the mandate of IPCC in the sense of providing results, scientific results that should be policy relevant but not policy prescriptive. One of the most important things in the context of the work of the IPCC is the way in which the different working teams work in this context, the collective spirit, the team spirit that is very important to deal with a problem which is particularly complex, as is the climate change as a global environmental but also development challenge. So I would say that the way in which the IPCC has been operating since its creation in 1988 has been very important in developing this collective work and in providing inputs, in providing scientific results that are solid and that are very relevant for policy making without being policy prescriptive.